Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. Yes, I am back. I had to leave for my last book haul video. I had to break up my religious book haul video because I had to go live stream on my other channel. I said Liturgy of the Hours, but I was actually doing a different morning prayer. Liturgy of the Hours is at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this video is going to be preceding my Liturgy of the Hours live stream. But I'm going to try to squeeze in another video while I feel up to recording. So this is my Scott Hahn book haul because I have been trying to collect all his books, and oh my gosh, the man has written a lot. Most of his stuff, if you're not familiar with Scott Hahn, is he does studies of scripture and he relates them to the Catholic Church. He actually came to the Catholic Church via his studying, whatever, his study of the Catholic, via his study of scripture, particularly covenantal love. So that's a theme you'll see running through a lot of his books. I read some of his books in college because I actually went to Franciscan University, which is the university he teaches at. No, I didn't take any of his classes. I was a nursing major. I didn't have that much room, and his classes would have been full most likely anyway. Everyone wants to go to Scott Hahn class. So getting in probably would have been nigh impossible. And I only had like 2 electives because nursing program. Anywho, so I showed in the last video by accident Covenant and Communion, which was one of the books that I had picked up by him, Biblical Theology of Pope Benedict the 16th. So that was one of his that I picked up. Now, some of his others, this one is Letter and Spirit from the Written Text to the Living Word in the Liturgy. So I think this is covering the Liturgy of the Mass versus Liturgy of the Hours. Not like comparing the two, but not Liturgy of the Hours, but it's covering Liturgy of the Mass. At least if the picture's anything to go by. I don't know what that's a painting of. Does it tell me? Jacket design. The Mass of St. Gregory, oil on canvas. Luca Giordano, 1632 to 1705, Hospital Tavera, Toledo, Spain, / Bridgman Art Library. So I thought that would be some sort of painting, older painting. It just had that look. Here we have Hope to Die, The Christian Meaning of Death and the Resurrection of the Body. Scott Hahn with Emily Stimson Chapman. Does it give me another? Oh, I was hoping they'd tell me where the picture came from on the jacket. Let's see. Okay, cover design and layout by Emily Demari. Cover image, The Resurrection, 1715 by Sebastiano Ricci. Dulwich Picture Gallery in Dulwich, South London. Even though that does not sound like a London name, an English name, British name, whatever. Yeah, this one in particular I was interested in. This one was one of the few that I had to spend a little bit more for. I think this was because usually I get mine on sale because, you know, that's easiest for me. It's it's copyright 2020, so it's one of his newer ones. This one here is A Father Who Keeps His Promises, God's Covenant Love in Scripture. I bet this is one of his earlier ones. Yeah, 1998. So actually I think this might be shortly after his conversion. No, his conversion was like in early 1980 or late 1980s, I want to say. Darn, I can't remember. I just read Rome Sweet Home. You'd think I'd remember. I want to say it was in the late 1980s that he became Catholic. So this is one of his earlier ones, but not like super duper early. But yeah, his whole focus, if you read Rome Sweet Home, his focus was God's covenantal love, and that's part of what led him to the church. So I'm not surprised that he has at least one book focused primarily on that. So this will probably be covering a lot of Old Testament going into New Testament. Consuming the Word. I could have sworn I must have had Lamb's Supper from no, I didn't. Okay. I could have sworn I had either this or Lamb's Supper already, but when I looked at my Scott Hahn collection, I didn't, which is weird to me. Maybe I borrowed it from the library in school. Anyway, so New Testament and the Eucharist in the early church. Whoa, is this for real? Do I actually have it signed? Cool, I'll have to show my mom. I did not realize that this was signed, if it is in fact a real signature. It looks like it's in Sharpie. No way. Copyright 2013. First edition. I was looking for the cool. Looking for where the jacket design. Oh, come on, tell me what where the painting is. Let's see. That's nice that I have who did it, but give me like the artist. Okay, Image. Oh no, Image is the publisher. You're not going to tell me who did the painting? Well, that's not cool. I want to know who did the painting. So guys, I don't know yet who did the painting on the front. Which is weird because usually his books tell you who did the painting. I'm not sure why this one doesn't. Okay, well, if I find out when I read it, I will let you know who did that painting. A little bummed that this one doesn't tell you already, because most of his books do. Okay, but I just set this aside to let Mom know that I have a signed copy. Sorry. Okay, so then this one is Understanding Our Father, Biblical Reflections on the Lord's Prayer. So this is kind of cool. Cool cover too. And this one, I want to see it should tell me the painting because usually it does. Cover artwork, Pompeo Battoni, God the Father. So it doesn't give me a year, but it does give me the artist. And I think the title is self-explanatory. My only hardcover, well, no, I have other hardcover Scott Hahn's. I just don't have the jackets, which I usually do have. The Lamb's Supper, Mass is Heaven on Earth. Neil Obstott, Promoter, who did the painting? Oh wait, there is no painting because I don't have the jacket, so it doesn't matter if it was to tell me who it was because I wouldn't know anyway. Looks like this might have been a library copy or something because I thought I saw a library mark on it. At least someone who is one of those. Where'd it go? Well, I can't find what I thought I saw. So, anyway, look forward to this one. And then the last one I have to show is the fourth cup, Unveiling the Mystery of the Last Supper and the Cross. And here is the art. Let's see who did the painting. Okay, jacket image, The Agony in the Garden, oil on canvas, Giordano Luca. Okay, he'd used this painting in a different, or used this artist in a different painting as well. Although that I want to say is for St. Gregory. It was one about the Mass as well. But this one is Giordano Luca, 1634 to 1705, Hospital Tavera, Toledo, Spain. Bridgman image. And I want to say the other one using this artist was, I want to say it was this one. I want to say this was one done by the same artist. Let's see. Yeah. Mass of St. Gregory, oil on canvas, Luca Giordano, Hospital Tavera, Toledo, Spain. Same artist. Apparently, either Scott Hahn's publisher or Scott Hahn is a fan of this artist, which is kind of cool. Funny thing was, I was just reading about the Mass of St. Gregory Apparently it was very popular in medieval England to have paintings about the Mass of St. Gregory on the I believe it's called a reredos. Reredos. I can't. It's like Reredos. And it was like a screen behind the altar and would have like a painting on it or something. And it was very popular to have an image of the Mass of St. Gregory behind the altar, apparently, in medieval England, and apparently going into Tudor England even. So I was just hearing about this, which is kind of cool. But this painting is a Spanish one, as is the one on here. So yeah, that is the Scott Hahn book haul. Let me see the time. Oh, I totally still have time to do my other book haul, to finish up my religious book hauls. So thank you very much for joining me. Hope that you enjoyed this book haul. I super can't wait to show Mom that I think I have a Scott Hahn signature. Kind of cool. Okay. I'm still kind of bummed though that I can't see who did the painting on there, because that's really not something that's typical. Because it even tells me who the jacket design is by, but not who did the painting, because that's definitely looks like a painting. And that's after the road to Emmaus. That's when he walks back with them, explaining when they're like all bummed that Jesus died. We thought that he was, going to be the Messiah. And Jesus walks back with them post-resurrection and explains the scripture to them and why this should have been expected. And they didn't recognize him until the breaking of the bread. So this is the breaking of the bread, and then he disappears. But I'm not quite sure why they don't tell me what painting it is. That kind of is driving me insane. So yeah. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope that you have a great day, and I will see you the next time. Well, for the next video that I'm about to record. God bless. Bye.